You know that moment when you're having a conversation in English and suddenly everything just stops? Like you give a short answer and then there's this awkward silence where nobody knows what to say next.
Oh, wow, yes. That happens to me all the time, actually. I'll answer someone's question with, like, yes or no, and then we're just standing there looking at each other.
Exactly, George. And that's what we're talking about today on English Chats Daily. I'm Eva, and this is my friend George, and we're going to help you keep those conversations flowing naturally instead of hitting those uncomfortable dead ends.
I have to admit, this is something I really struggle with. Even in my native language sometimes, but especially in English, where I'm always thinking about grammar and vocabulary.
That's so normal, though. The good news is that continuing conversations naturally isn't about being perfect or having amazing vocabulary. It's really about adding just one little extra piece to what you're saying.
What do you mean by that? Like adding more words to my answer?
Kind of. So instead of just answering the basic question, you add one small detail or one extra thought. For example, if someone asks, "How was your weekend?" instead of just saying good, you could say, "Good, I went to the park with my sister."
Oh, I see. So you're giving them something they can ask about next, like they could ask about your sister or what you did at the park.
Exactly. You're giving the other person what I like to call a conversation hook. It's like you're throwing them a little rope they can grab onto to keep the conversation going.
That actually makes sense. I think I do this sometimes without realizing it, but not consistently. Sometimes I just give those short answers and then wonder why the conversation dies.
Right. And the beautiful thing is you don't need to add a lot. Even tiny details work. Like if someone asks, "Did you have lunch?" Instead of yes, you could say, "Yes, I had a sandwich," or "Yes, at that new cafe downtown."
So it's really about being a little more specific instead of keeping everything general. I think I keep my answers short because I'm worried about making mistakes.
Oh, George, that's such a common feeling. But here's the thing. Those little details actually make you sound more natural, not less natural. Native speakers always add these little extra bits of information.
Can you give me another example? I want to make sure I understand this correctly.
Sure. Let's say someone asks, "Do you like your job?" Instead of just, "It's okay," you might say, "It's okay, though my coworkers are really nice," or "It's okay, but the commute is pretty long."
I love that. You're not just answering yes or no, you're giving your opinion and then adding a reason or detail that explains why you feel that way.
Exactly. And notice how both of those answers give the other person options for what to talk about next. They could ask about your coworkers, or about where you live, or how you get to work.
This is really helpful. But what about asking follow-up questions? Sometimes I want to keep the conversation going, but I don't know what to ask.
Great question. The easiest follow-up questions are often the most obvious ones. If someone tells you they went shopping, you can ask, "What did you buy?" or "Where did you go shopping?"
So I don't need to think of really creative or intelligent questions. I can just ask for more details about what they already told me.
Exactly. People love talking about their experiences, so asking simple details usually works perfectly. You know what else works well? Sharing a similar experience.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if someone says, "I had a really busy day at work," you could say, "Oh, really? I had a busy day too." Or, "That sounds exhausting. What made it so busy?" You're either relating to their experience or asking them to elaborate.
I think I do the relating part sometimes, but I often stop there. Like I'll say, me too, but then I don't add anything else about my own experience.
Right. So you could say, "Me too, I had 3 meetings back to back," or "Me too, my boss gave me this huge project at the last minute." You're relating, but also giving them something to respond to.
This is making me realize that conversation is kind of like a game where you keep passing the ball back and forth, and you want to make sure the other person can catch it and throw it back.
Oh my gosh, George, that's such a perfect way to think about it. You want to give them something they can easily catch and respond to. Not too complicated, but not too simple either.
But what happens when my mind just goes completely blank, like someone says something and I literally cannot think of anything to say next?
The blank mind moment. This happens to everyone, even native speakers. The trick is having a few go-to phrases that buy you some time while your brain catches up.
Like what kind of phrases?
Things like, that's interesting, or, oh really, or tell me more about that. These aren't deep responses, but they show you're listening and they encourage the other person to keep talking.
And while they're talking more, I have time to think of something better to say next. That's actually really smart.
Exactly. You can also use phrases like, I've never thought about it that way, or how did you get into that? These work in so many different situations.
I'm starting to see that I put too much pressure on myself to always say something brilliant. But really, sometimes just being genuinely curious about what someone is saying is enough.
You're absolutely right. Genuine curiosity is actually one of the most attractive qualities in conversation. People can tell when you're really interested in what someone is saying versus when you're just waiting for your turn to talk.
So if someone mentions they're learning to cook, I don't need to have amazing cooking stories. I can just ask, what's the first thing you learned to make? Or is it harder than you expected?
Perfect examples. Those questions show you're paying attention and you care about their experience. That's honestly more valuable than having the perfect witty response.
This is changing how I think about conversations completely. I always thought I needed to be entertaining or really knowledgeable, but maybe I just need to be interested and engaged.
George, you just hit on something so important. Being interested is way more important than being interesting. When you show genuine curiosity about other people, they usually find you much more pleasant to talk to.
And I bet this gets easier with practice, right? Like the more I try these techniques, the more natural they'll become.
Absolutely. Start small. Maybe just focus on adding one extra detail to your answers for a week. Then the next week, practice asking one follow-up question in each conversation.
That sounds manageable. I think I was trying to change everything about how I communicate all at once, which felt overwhelming.
Exactly. Small steps are the way to go. And remember, even native speakers have awkward conversation moments sometimes. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress and connection.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to practice this with my coworkers tomorrow. They're always asking about my weekend. So instead of just saying fine, I'll add one detail.
I love that plan. And George, I bet you'll be surprised at how much more engaged people become when you give them those little conversation hooks we talked about.
This has been so helpful, Eva. I feel like I have actual tools now instead of just hoping conversations will get better.
I'm so glad. Remember, everyone, conversations are about connecting with people, not performing perfectly. Be curious, add small details, and don't be afraid of those little moments of silence.
And if you practice these ideas even a little bit each day, you're going to notice a huge difference in how comfortable you feel talking with people in English.
Thanks for joining us today on English Chats Daily. Keep practicing, be patient with yourself, and we'll chat with you again tomorrow.